Right. So, like I said, I'm not very technical whatsoever. I think I hit the record button. But anyway, welcome to the first episode of the Proudly Canadian Discover Canada series. I'm Tim Leacash. I came up with this concept a little bit ago, and all I'm just trying to do is go one-on-one with Canadians all across the world and just speak to them and learn a little bit more about them. And today I have Kathleen Penner here. She was so kind to be my first guest. So like I said, I'm not the most technical person. I got my new Proudly Canadian shirt here, so I'm prepared. I got my background, so
Mhm.
we're ready to rock and roll. So Kathleen Penner, we've chatted, before about what she does. She's a true Canadian. She's an entrepreneur, and so we're just going to learn a little bit more about her, where she lives in Canada, what her passions are. And of course, over the past 15 months, COVID has been, hard on a lot of people, right? So
Absolutely.
specifically for people that own businesses in Canada,
Mhm.
they've been severely affected. So they're the backbone of Canada, small business. And in this day and age when big business seems to be gulping up small businesses left, right, and center.
Mhm.
My goal with having a discussion with Canadians is really just to learn more about small business and how we as Canadians can help. So, Kathleen, I know we've chatted already, so why don't you just tell our audience a little bit more about yourself?
Sure. First, I want to thank you for this opportunity to have a chance and to meet with everybody, and I thank you so much for that. It's great, and I'm really willing to be your guinea pig for the first one. So
Like I
no
said, it's not going to be
problem.
pretty, but we'll get through it.
No worries. So it's not super professional, but that's who we are. We're
Yeah.
fine. So as Tim said, I'm Kathleen Penner. I've been married for 29 years. This February would be number 30 for my husband and myself, and we have 4 daughters. They're all very, very close in age. We had 4 children in 5 years, actually, which was super busy when they were really young, but it's so much better now. I really love it. I love that they have so much more in common, being so close in age. So that's just super. The only thing I don't like is I felt bad for my husband. He's super outnumbered, for 5 women in the house and just him. So all our pets were always boys. We made sure we had male pets. We live in the Hamilton area, out in the country, and I lived in the same area basically all my life.
That's great. So being Canadian in that area, I mean,
Mhm.
tell us about some of your experiences, growing up. Have you seen any other parts of Canada? Is there places in Canada that you might want to see or
I haven't traveled as much through Canada as I would like. I'm desperate to go see Nova Scotia, PEI. I think those would be a great draw for me. I've been through Quebec. We've been to Ottawa. We've been to a few areas in there, but we haven't traveled nearly as much throughout Canada as I think we should. I think we as Canadians should explore our own backyard. I think that would be
That's
something.
100% right. I mean, I'm born and raised in Edmonton, Alberta, and I live in Fredericton, New Brunswick now. And it's only because, life and my wife is originally from Fredericton. So just, how life happens and we met and lo and behold, this is where I'm at. But I've been fortunate enough to see coast to coast, all the way up to Yellowknife, down to Victoria, to Newfoundland. So I've been fortunate that way. So I always put the question out there on the Proudly Canadian platform,
Mhm.
what province people would like to see. And it's a mixed bag of answers. People just want to see more of Canada. A lot of people want to see the Maritimes because I find sometimes when you're out west, you don't hear too much about the Maritimes, don't hear too much more about anything past Ontario,
Mhm.
unfortunately. So I find the Maritimes is very, I guess, underutilized. There's a lot of people that do want to come out here in New Brunswick, specifically where I'm at. It's very relatable to anywhere out west. I mean, when you get into Nova Scotia and Newfoundland, you get a little more of the history and more
Mhm.
culture. But New Brunswick seems to be very similar to any province out west, and based on my experience living here.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So,
Yeah. I
what
don't
are
like
some of your
terms of
passions? I
water.
know we talked about travel
Mhm.
across, Canada, but I understand that you have a passion for travel, right?
I
So,
do. I absolutely do have a passion for travel. Actually, we have two passions. I really love simple living. I love having my big garden in my backyard, living out in the country. I'm able to have the big garden and the backyard chickens and just to live more simply. And we really are into canning around this house. Everybody comes back home during canning season. because you just can't do it alone, right? And with the 4 kids, everybody's got their own job and they get it done, and it works really efficiently. I think part of it is so they could bring the food home with them, but it works out okay.
Yeah.
My husband even has a fireplace evaporator in our backyard, and he does his own maple syrup. So that's something that we really love. We love making our own food and making sure that, there's not a lot of preservatives or things in it. And I think that's something that we are very passionate about as a
So
family
wait,
as
you
well.
make your own maple syrup?
Yes, yeah. He taps the
Wow,
trees.
that's cool.
Yeah,
It's
he's never
very
done.
cool.
Yeah, no, he taps the trees and he has all the sap in the buckets. And we have a freezer in our back shed that he keeps them throughout the week so they don't spoil. And then on the weekend, he sits out there the whole weekend and boils it right down, because it's pretty much 40-1. So it's, 40 cups of sap makes 1 cup of syrup, which is
Wow.
amazing. And it's a long process, but he really enjoys doing it. And we make our own syrup. Yeah.
Yeah, so
It's
some
great.
people make their own wine, some people make their own beer, and you make maple syrup. That's pretty
We make maple
that's pretty
syrup. Yeah.
cool. I never, I never run into anybody that actually does that. So that's
Oh
pretty
yeah, yeah.
cool.
And we make our own sausages and bacon. That way there's no nitrates in it, and no fillers either, and it just tastes so much better. So that's one of my passions, absolutely, is simple living and preparing everything from scratch. The other one is definitely travel. Absolutely, I love traveling. In 2009, I had some health difficulties that made me kind of step back and say, what's important and what's really what I need to focus on, and that was making memories. And we felt that traveling and making the memories was the way to do it.
Mhm.
So we've traveled a lot with our kids, and we reflect back on those memories, around the kitchen table, and we sit and we laugh about different things. We still joke that one of my daughters, she actually was waiting on a park bench in San Juan and she fell asleep waiting for us. So we have a picture of her sitting there fast asleep as a teenager. So it wasn't like she was a little kid either. She was just sitting there waiting for us as a teenager. But so then you make those memories and you sit and you laugh and you joke about them, right? And that's what's important to me in life. We like to cruise a lot more, and I think of myself as a traveler, not a tourist.
Mm.
So we like to travel to the small ports, the ones that the big mega ships can't get into, and then that way you can see it not quite so North Americanized, and it's the actual culture of the place, and you can dive deep into that. And that's more my passion, is just learning about the area I'm visiting really deep. We do still travel in the mega ships a lot. I mean, you can't beat the amenities, the Flow Rider on Royal Caribbean, which is a surf simulator, which is so cool. The rock climbing walls, all those things, those are a lot of fun too. But to me personally, I like small ship cruising. My husband does the activities, he likes the bigger ships. But
No, that's very cool. So it's not like when we travel, we stay at all inclusives all the time. So
Mhm.
it's really a cookie cutter version, and you don't get a real sense of the culture because it's all just
Right.
masked by all the glitz and glamour. But there was one
Mhm.
point long time ago where I spent 2 weeks in a house in Barbados, and so
Okay,
lived
yeah.
like a local, like rented the house. There
Yep.
was no air conditioning, just had fans going, went to the groceries or went market and bought food and things like that.
Mhm.
And so that's on a smaller scale kind of how I experienced that, but I really like that you really kind of get in and travel and experience the culture, right? So that's very
Yeah,
cool.
absolutely. And then you'd ask the locals, where do you go out to eat? What's your favorite restaurant? And then you find something totally different than your chicken nuggets and your regular food that
Yeah,
we tend to
exactly.
serve to us as Canadians. But you get to see more of their culture. Yeah,
Right on.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Mhm.
no, that's cool. And so you've actually built kind of a lifestyle, or that's what your livelihood is, from what I understand.
Yes.
Plenty of sunshine.
Yeah, yeah,
No,
you're close.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm the proud owner of Plenty of Sunshine Travel.
okay, cool.
I'm a travel advisor, and I love putting together personalized itineraries for my clients. We mostly sell cruises. That's kind of what we do the most of. But I mean, if you want to go to an all-inclusive, by all means, we'll certainly arrange that. And the reason I call it personalized is because we can do private shore excursions where you can see different things as opposed to just using the shore excursions on the ships. And we've built relationships with those vendors so that we make sure you get back to the ship on time. Because the last thing you want to do is see it pull out of port as you're as you're walking up the pier. That would not be a good
Right.
plan.
Yeah.
So, we just basically, we can extend your stay. You can stay a little bit longer in the areas as well. So that's great.
So you're almost single-handedly, of course, without going on the trip with people, but you organize front to back a trip for
Yeah. Oh,
people. Oh wow.
absolutely. Yep.
Wow.
Every part of it. Yes.
Wow, that's very
Yeah,
cool.
I'm a full service travel advisor. Yeah.
Yeah, we have a regular travel agent here locally, but
Mhm,
she, we stay all inclusive, so it's easy to book.
mhm,
So she just makes sure we get a proper room and things like that. But one of the things that we've always wanted to do was go on a cruise,
mhm.
and but it's so intricate, I guess. It's you really have to be dialed in on when you port, and like you said, when you get off the boat and come back on, things like
Mhm.
that. So you handle all that. That's
Yep.
impressive.
I do ask my clients a lot of questions, kind of qualifying them, because the last thing I want to do is, if you or your wife, just your desire is to lay on a beach and read a book and do nothing. Well, I'm not going to send you to the Galapagos Islands to
Right.
explore on an expedition cruise, right? That's
Right.
not for you. So I want to make sure that I'm matching the client to the right supplier. So I don't work for any suppliers. I work for you. So I make sure what you want is what you're gonna get.
Wow. So very, very personalized experience. So,
Mhm.
so if someone even watching this, has, something on their bucket list they want to go see, or maybe a cruise is in their future in the next, 3 months, 6 months, 18 months, and they reached out to you, you can
Mhm.
essentially work with them to plan out everything like front to back based on what
Absolutely.
what their
What
comfort level
what
is.
you
Yeah.
want in your vacation. Yeah, what your
Wow.
goals are. Absolutely, yes.
That's
And
amazing.
actually, you're saying 3 to 6 months, it's gonna be hard to find a cruise in 3 to 6 months,
Well, I'm
because
just, yeah, I
everybody's
guess I was
about.
just saying that if
Yeah,
people are having
yeah,
their idea, like I've
I
been
know.
on
I
restricted
wanna
for
go.
so long, and
Yeah.
I just want to go somewhere. So if they're thinking, wow, cruise,
Yep.
Kathleen, perfect, how do I,
Mhm. Mhm.
so
Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing, all the people who had their cruises canceled, they've all rebooked for 21 to 22. Plus, there's reduced capacity on the ships at this point.
right,
So it's surprising to see how much they've all sold out. You
right.
wouldn't really think that, but the cruise lines are really selling out all their staterooms that they're available to sell.
Yeah. So that
Yeah.
brings me to what I was saying is, on being on restrictions for the past 15 months, 18 months, whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
How has that affected being in travel, and obviously must have severely affected it. So how, that's your livelihood. So how did that affect
It
you?
really affected it.
Yeah.
When COVID first hit and everything was not permanently, sorry, when everything came to a standstill, the number one priority was to get my clients home. That was the biggest job right then. That was all I focused on, is just, okay, we're going to get you back home. We're going to find flights for you, and we're going to do that. So that was that. And then once everybody came back home, my focus switched to canceling all the itineraries on the files. So I remembered vividly, I think I'm still going to have nightmares about this, but having 3 different phones lined up, and each of them are on speakerphone, and it was about 5 to 6 hours per phone to get a hold of the people that I needed to get it done. It was just insane. But I'd put it on speakerphone. I'd go and I'd cook, or I'd do something, because to hold it up to your ear listening to that, it
Right.
would just drive you crazy, right? I
Wow.
felt really, really bad when I heard about, through the news, people who were waiting for 6 hours on hold, and then they got disconnected, or something happened, and then they only have their one file to deal with. But the good thing with me is, once I got through, I could deal with everybody in that
Mhm.
supplier, and just bang it out and get all them rebooked or canceled, or whatever it needs to
And
be.
that's refreshing to hear that
Mhm.
you have a heart like that, like you cared, like you're, even though these people are, on their trip and in this situation, you're doing what you can behind the scenes to make it happen. So I think that's a testament to just how much you care about what you do and people, and that's what people want. They don't want to be
Mhm.
treated like a number or a customer, or they want people that care, right? So
Oh,
I'm glad that you
yeah.
set that standard, or you offer that level of service, right? So
Mhm. So
wow.
when and I'll do this in air quotes, 30-day pause in operations was put out, and we
Yeah.
realized it was going to be a lot more than 30 days, I kind of realized, I'm not doing a lot, and we really want to keep the travel dream alive. We want to look at
Mhm.
that. So I started a YouTube show, and my YouTube weekly show that I do is Plenty of Sunshine Travel on YouTube, and I meet with a different cruise line every week, and we go over for the first time I meet with them, we go over their brand, and then the second time we talk about a specific itinerary, a promotion, a ship, anything like that, just to keep the dream alive. So
Yep.
I currently have 26 different cruise lines on my list, and I have 47 shows taped, which is kind of fun. It's kind
Wow.
of neat to have
Good for
that. I'm,
you.
I'm
Good for
excited.
you.
So yeah,
Yeah.
so we
Yeah.
do that. So while I've been busy doing all the YouTube shows, I haven't been paid in 16 months. I
Right.
don't know if a lot of people realize the way the travel industry works is you end up getting paid once either final payment is made or they've set sail, depending on the supplier. So it's been a long 16 months. It's been incredible. And some suppliers even recalled their commissions when the client asked for a refund, which is absolutely crazy.
So kind of like a charge back or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. So they recalled the commission from these travel agents, and a lot of them had to leave the business. They just couldn't afford it. They couldn't keep paying for their storefront, their rent if they had a brick and mortar, or to repay all the suppliers as well. So I'm really fortunate that I work from home. I don't have that overhead. So I've been able to keep functioning, and I'm really, really grateful for that I'm able to keep being a travel agent and just doing what I love. And that is connecting with clients and providing them with the information at
Yeah,
this
and
time.
you can tell, but even by just talking about it, given everything that's going on, you're
Mhm.
able still to talk about it as like as with much passion as you do. You're
Yeah.
not, sour or just, you know what I mean? You're not bitter, and you're not, grumbling. You're just happy as can be, right? And move on and
Mhm.
help people and book an amazing trip. So that's a testament too. So I guess kind of to wrap up here, is there
Mhm.
what can Canadians do to I guess support you, I guess,
To
and
support me? Quite simply, just support your travel agents. When you feel safe that you're ready to travel again, and it's a personal decision. Not everybody's ready to go the second the borders open, but some people might be ready at that time, and some people might be ready in 2023.
Mhm.
And that's fine. It's a personal decision. But when you're comfortable, book with somebody who's a travel agent, and it doesn't necessarily have to be me. I don't, as much as I'd love for you to book with me, I am a full service travel agent. I basically, and it might not be your style, but I keep in contact with you right from the booking process to when you return back home. So I let you know any protocol that's in place, anything that is changed, or anything that you need to know. I make sure you have all your travel documents. I fill out all the forms that you need to embark on your cruise. I make sure you have the right insurance. I let you know your baggage allowance. I even check you in for your flights there and back. But one thing I do is I do check in with you once when you're in your destination, when you're on your cruise at your all inclusive. I just want to make sure everything is going okay. I don't want to bug you. You're on vacation. The last thing you want to do is talk to me. But if you're just let me know that everything's okay, I leave you completely alone. And then when you're back home, I'll ask you to let me know what kind of reviews you have on the things that you did and what you'd suggest for my future clients. So that may not be for you, and that's okay if that's not your style. But do find somebody who is your style, who would like that, and support your travel agents.
Yeah,
So pretty much that's all I ask, is just support travel agents.
that's great. And where could people find you specifically? I saw you have a YouTube channel.
I do.
Any other places that you're, I think, on
I
Facebook?
Yeah, I am on Facebook, Plenty of Sunshine Travel on Facebook. That's kind of my name across all the boards. So I'm on
Yeah.
Instagram and Facebook. My website is plentyofsunshinetravel.com. And if you do go to my website, there's a link there. If you're interested, you can download a free guide for planning your Alaska cruise. Completely up to you if you want to download that guide. That's there for you. Like you said, I'm also on YouTube. And speaking of YouTube, if you're interested in learning more about travel, if you could just hit subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers
Yeah.
so I can change my username. They
Okay.
won't let you do that until you get to 1,000. So hey, by all means, if you feel like subscribing, I'd appreciate that.
And I'll have all of your links somewhere around this video, depending on what platform you're
Okay.
watching. People are watching this on, but I'll have the links to all of your how to get a hold of Kathleen somewhere around this video. Was there a podcast? I think there's a podcast too.
There
So,
is, yeah, Cruising the Waves podcast. What I did is I took the audio that we did for our YouTube videos and we just stripped it into the audio and we uploaded it to all the channels.
okay.
So I use Anchor, and Anchor kind of spreads it all out everywhere. So it's on Spotify, Apple, all the ones that I don't even know half of them, but I just upload it once and let the software do it. That's not my thing. So
Yeah.
pretty much if you want to just search for Cruising the Waves podcast, you should be able to find it there.
Well, it's great. So here we are, episode 1 in the books. And, here we are, Kathleen from Ontario. Sounds like things are turning around for you in your business. So that's really great to hear. And yeah, that's what this series was about, Discover Canada. So
And I
really kind of
apologize, I'm long-winded, so my
no,
apologies.
that I'm the same way. So I tend to talk and talk. But anyways, so that's, I mean, that's what this was about. Just really, presenting you to an audience that may not even know that even you offer that level of service, because sometimes travel can be overwhelming, right? Some people might think, well, I wish I could go there, but where do I start? Right.
Mhm.
And so,
Especially in this post-COVID world, is not just where do I start, is what do I need to get there?
right,
Like some of the
exactly.
islands, you have to fill out a certain form and they have to allow you, and it has to be done a set number of days before. And
Yeah.
it's a bigger process now than it used to be. So it is
Yeah.
something, to have a professional behind you to sort of say, nope, this is what you need. Don't worry about that. So it helps.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I'm glad you're able to join me for this first one. Like I said,
Yeah.
I think we did all right. So
And I appreciate you so much for doing this. Thank you for giving me this platform.
no, no problem. So again, you can find Kathleen. Like I said, I'll have her links anywhere around this video. Thank you for joining me on this very first episode of Discover Canada, the proudly Canadian Discover Canada series. Stay tuned for more episodes as they roll out. And thank you for your support, proudly Canadian crew. I love you, Canada, and we'll see you at the next one.
Take care. Bye.